Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, I hope you guys have done well in your paper 1 of grammar of French certification, Delhi University. About my exam, it went fine. I have made few mistakes, but still expect to get graded uh, on the one which I did correct, and I believe will get good grades. Hopefully, you also had the same kind of experience. It was quite a offbeat paper, but then that is how things meant to change in life, anyways. So moving on, we have the next paper, which is paper 2 about written expression, culture, and civilization. So in this paper, we have to do the writing part. And in order to actually cover this, what I have done is I have combined the past paper together. So this is first paper, and then this one is the second paper. This is third, and then I have the last, which is fourth. So basically, these are papers are of different years. Since we don't have that much time to actually go through everything or to learn so much of the things that we can easily go ahead and start writing. So what we will do is we will try to make a strategy to pass through this. So I have thought that what I will do is I will take this paper as my base paper. Okay. So I am going to actually learn whatever I have to write in this paper, and then I have mapped it to the other paper. So whatever I will be writing and learning while putting things in this paper, I will going to put the same things on the other papers based on the questions which is matching. So I will do that mapping in this session only. I don't know how long this video will take because we're going to write and then we are going to do the mapping for the other papers, but then this is the only video you need to watch. So what I'll suggest is when I'm solving the first paper, you actively learn with me, you start writing your notes, because these are the only notes we are going to use in order to write answers for the other paper. So the only syllabus for this paper, or you can say the only restricted thoughts on this paper, is this base paper. And based on this, I will show you how we can solve the other three, and then in examination you can solve the one which comes in the exam, just based on this one paper. Okay, so let's get started with this, and I will read through the problem one. So it says wools. So basically this one is actually is it added to your verb, which is voler. So this verb has been added with ez. It means to want. So you want to participate, and it says ela, that means to the. So you want to participate to the or in the rencontre. This is basically means encounter. So you want to participate, encounter, or to meet, we can say, international. So basically an international meeting. So you want to participate in the international meeting, and you remplir. So this is again a part of a verb which is remplir, which means to fill. So you remplir votre formulaire the inscription. So basically you fill your, this votre again means your, who means you, formulate the inscription, that means your registration. An inscription means your details, so registration form. Okay, so basically they are asking us to fill this registration form in this problem. Let me read further. It says who at 3 verb form, this is, which means to be, uh, national, that means uh, this means foreigner. Okay, and this means nationality. So you are from foreign nationality, basically a foreigner, I can say. And you, this I told you, this is actually a form of voler to want. Parler français, you want to speak Francis, and rencontre, I can say meet or encounter the new friends. So novio is basically a new, and ami is friend. So new friends, Francis and strangers means again the foreigners. So basically, you are a foreigner and you want to actually learn to speak French and meet new people, make them friends who are actually Francis, that is means French citizens as well as the strangers. So basically, those who are actually learning French, like we all guys. Okay. Then it says rendezvous, which means rendezvous means to return. Actually, this is again ez with the verb, so it means to return. Return Wednesday. Okay, so it's a Masadi means Wednesday, and prochain means next. At 6 use means 6 p.m. Then this is some address, Cafe the University, and now place the. Okay, this is again the address. So basically, it says that meeting is returning next Wednesday. So you can say this is meeting next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Okay. Now this is the form we have. It says four. This is four is basically for, and then best. This is mux is best, and connaître is again a verb, so it means to know. So it says for best to know or for actually to know you better. This is what exactly comes before a form has to be filled. So this is what they have written. Then it says prenom. Prenom actually stand for your first name. So first name. So I have to write my first name here. I'll just write Atul. Okay. Then it says national. So basically the nationality I have to write here. So while actually reading through this, no, just make sure that you are actually understanding these spellings also. It will come very handy when you have to write something else. Anyway, I'll just move in. So I'll write Indian, and the spelling you need to notice. So how exactly I write Indian in French? Okay. Then it says profession. So profession is student. So student in French are called étudiant. So I'll just write Etudiante. Okay. And then it says date the arrive in France. So basically they are asking me for the arrival date in France. So I'll just write here 5th October 2026. Okay. And then it says your marital status. So I'll just write here single. So I'll just write non-married, that is célibataire. In France, you call it célibataire. Then the language of origin, I can say Hindi. Then it says that niveau de France is basically they're asking how new I am to French, what is my French level. So I'll say A1. Okay. Then they are asking me my two hobbies. So basically it's written two. So I have to write two, and this is losses is basically your hobbies or things you prefer to do. So I'll write two of them. La lecture. So lecture means to study, and then la photography. Okay, actually none of them are my hobbies, but I just feel they are easy to write in French. So wherever I had to write hobbies in this paper, at least I will just say la lecture and la photograph. Okay. And then this is asking me to sports prati. So basically, what sports I played. So although I don't know swimming, but I know that the spelling of it is easy. So I'll write la natation, and I will remember this as my sports because getting a score in this one is more important than actually to write it in the correct way. Okay, so that's why. And yeah, so let's move further. Oh wait, one thing I just missed this. Yeah, when I say uh, October, I just have to. So the spelling of October in French is Octobre. Okay, so not ERRE, and I choose this specially because it is very easy to remember in French. So whenever the date comes, I'll just use this one because it's quite easy to write. You can also choose September, that is also RE. So in the end, so you can decide. I just go with October, and if you choose April, which is currently running, then instead of P, you have to write V. So I'll say stick to one. I'll just like the month of October is quite pleasing weather in Delhi. That's why. So I just choose October. Okay, and let's move to the next one then. Okay, so it says that is basically treat the subjects. See, the so is basically below. Okay, so basically asking us to solve the things given below, and this let's read to the part A. So it says so basically this is EZ again with a verb which is your rediger. It basically means to draft or to write something. Okay, so it says draft a fair part. So basically we have been asked to write a letter or a written portion basically. The nice, so basically this refers to a birth announcement. So basically we have to write for that. Basically you must have read in the newspapers some birth announcement or these kind of things keep on coming. So we have to write something similar to that. We have to write about a birth announcement with the elements uh, following. Okay, so basically we have been given some following statements or elements, I can say. Then you have to use them, and we have to write a birth announcement. So let's see what elements are these. It says Clement and Simon. So basically this is the name. 172 Boulevard Saint. Some address is given to us. Then we are given a name again, which is Lewis. And 3 15 14th February. So we have a month here also. In the exam, if you get a month, then you can actually change the date. Like you remember the date of arrival in France. I just choose October for my piece anyway. So we have been given here the details. Let's do one thing simultaneously. Let's read the part B also so that I can actually take a picture of it and then we can go ahead and solve. So let's understand this one. We have understood that this is the name of the son and he has born at this time, and this is the date, and they are just putting this in public domain as an announcement so that everybody knows that this is basically the sun. Okay, let's read the next one. It says, say weekend. So the weekend, or you can say this weekend, says to voice three. So basically, it says your this weekend is. So we can say is, or this is weekend. So basically, your birthday. So anniversary is birthday. This weekend is your birthday, and you organize a fete. So basically, a party. So this weekend is your birthday and you are organizing a party. This is what actually it says. Then it's again say rediger, which is the verb I told you about, rediger, which means to write. Write an invitation for, okay, for inviter, basically to invite votre is your, to invite your milieu, MA. So basically, we have friends and then we have milieu. So you say best friend. Okay. When it says milieu, it usually say best friend. You have to invite your best friend for the birthday party. This is what actually it writes. So we have to draft a writing portion for that. Okay. And then it says that's so this is again the form of verb dire, which means to say, okay, to tell. So that's the way, and you have to tell him the date. So the date is not mentioned. We can of course borrow this date from the above portion, quite get easier for us. And then it says in lieu it, so basically the place. You have to tell the date, you have to tell the place, you have to tell the time, at the time when the party is there. So we have to draft two things. Number one is about the birthday announcement of the child, and the number two is about the writing portion of a letter to your best friend, telling them that at what place and at what date and time they have to reach in order to get into your birthday party. Okay, so let's go to the board. First of all, I will erase all this so that I can take a picture of this. Give me a second to do that, and then we will move further and we will go ahead with the other part. So I'll just erase this all, and I'll just try to do it with Control Z rather than using the pen. Might go a little faster for us. So with this, we will be able to solve two problems of this, and then later on we can. So next time what I'll do, I'll take a snapshot first only, rather than taking so much time to erase this stuff and then putting it back on the open board. So the reason I have to erase this is because I need a clear picture for open board. Okay, so let me just take a snapshot of this. Okay, and let's go to open board now. We have this here. Let me just move this up a little. Yeah, cool. Okay, and yeah, so we will begin writing this out, and we will start with the part A first. So let's do this. Let me just grab my pen. So it says that these were the names. So I will just try to start with the names. So I write, because I'm writing an announcement. So remember that at the time of writing an announcement, it's always good to actually start with the name. So I write Clement and it says E.T. Simon. Okay. Then they are saying basically I have to write are delighted to announce the birth of their son. So I write on la joy. So basically are very happy or are delighted. Okay. Then I say the woo. So basically I am saying that they are delighted to announce the breath of their son. So I'll say the woo announcer. Basically I'm using woos because they are more than one person, and then they would be give me a second, they would be actually unknown also, so that's why we use woos. Okay. So so whenever I have to write I'm very happy to announce, I'll use this line on la joy the, then I won't use woo though if there is only one person. Okay. So I'll write further the mm, and now I have to write about the birth part. So I have the spelling here. Okay. So I'll just write this naissance, naissance. Okay. So the sentence become Clement and it all entre la joie de vous annonce la naissance. Now I have to write about their child. So I write the lure. Lure basically because they are plural, and then I have to write fills. Okay. So of their son, and then once I have written about the son, that is fills, I have to write the name of the son, which is Louis, given to me in question, and then I have to write born. Now I will just write the date. So instead of writing born, I have to write in French. So that is the problem. Anyway, so in French it is called né. So this is actually the form of naissance only. Basically comes in past participle. So in passé composé, this is what actually is. And then I have to write the date. So I write né, lay, and I'll just copy the date given in the problem. So it's 14th February 2025. Okay, and then I have to write uh, at what time. So I'll write 3H15. Okay. Then the next part is quite easy. I just have to copy paste their address. So I'll just write 172 Boulevard, Saint German 75006, Paris, France. Alright. So if you see here, I got this from the problem itself. Then I got this complete address from the problem. I got the dates also from the problem. I got this also problem. The only thing was I had to add at because that was not there. And then again, I actually had this, but I had to add la in front of it. This I did, and this you can remember. Okay, so let me use green for this. Yeah, on la jour the announcer. So this you can actually learn, and whenever any announcement is coming, you know how exactly you have to start it. Although not use it for a sad announcement, but for all the good announcement questions, you can use this. And then the lure fails. Basically, I got the name also from the question, so only I had to use this one, and then I was able to do it. Okay, so that is what how you use it. Now that we have solved the first one, we'll go for the next one. But I'll tell you that after using this kind of statement, so what exactly you have to write. Once you know this, then when we move to the another paper where we actually have no clue, we will be using the similar kind of statements. That's why I do the mapping, so we learn from only one paper by heart by writing it. So if you write it down for 4 or 5 times, you will remember this. And once you know this from one paper, then it's get very easy to actually deal with the other. I will just add the this again back so that we can solve it. So I'll just choose to erase this one so that we can actually use the next problem, which is B. Okay, let me just go here. Yeah. So this is about the birthday. If you remember, we had to just mention the date and the place and the time to our friend so that they can come to our birthday party. So we will start writing it out, and based on this, we will be able to do it. So I'll just start writing it with the way of how exactly you write to your friend. So you just have to put some name here. So I'll just say Salu, and since I have to write some name, let's write Mary here, which is easy to spell. You can also write your best friend's name. I'll just choose to write Mary. Okay, now I have to write Salomary, and I'll directly bring the subject, what exactly I want to write about. So it says say weekend. This weekend we actually decoded when we were reading it. So I'll say see weekend. I'll just borrow everything from the question itself. See weekend says Mon anniversary. Now why I'm writing Mon anniversary? Because it's my anniversary. The question just mentioned what three anniversary. So I'm just borrowing it from it in order to make sure that I don't make mistakes and get easier. And then further the question says, and you're organizing a fete. So I'll say uh, for you, because I'm writing myself, so I'll say J organize yon fete. Okay, so I am organizing a fete. Now I'll just have to mention the date part and the time. So I'll say what exactly the easiest word you remember. So you can say Lundi or you can say Samidi because it is not given in the question, so you can write anything. So Samidi, then I'll just copy the date from above. So I'll say Samidi 14 February 2026. Okay, and then I have to write the time. So I'll say 8:20 years. This I can actually use six basically from the first question also. It was given around 6 p.m. So 18 years. So I just thought 20. Yeah. Okay. Then you have to write at your place, right? You have to write your place. So you will say she's my. Okay. She's my. So the party is at my place. Quite easy. I don't have to go with the all the stuff of writing the party is there or somewhere in the other place which I have to describe. Okay, then I'll just say I'm inviting you, so I'll say JT invite. Invite. Okay, invite. Now, just to make sure I satisfy the requirement of 40 to 60 words. So I'll just because I have invited, so I'll just write I hope you can come. So I'll say J, and for hope we'll use aspire. So we'll aspire, J aspire, U. So for you this we write Q2, and I'll say Pux Venir. I hope you will come. Okay, Venir is to come. Then I'll say bring your good mood. So I'll say apote ta bone. So basically you're good. And for mood we usually say in French humor. So HUMEUR. That's it. I'm done. I just have to close this. So because we have invited someone and they are going, we have written you will come. So I'll write a bientôt. So which means to see you soon. So I'll write a bientôt, and I'll close this writing. Okay. Now just let me give a second. So I started with Salu, which is basically hi, quite easy. Then say weekend because it was written in question, so I wrote say weekend. It was written Sest Votre anniversary. I said Sest Mohan anniversary. Or here actually you I forgot this, yeah, because it's in question Sest like this, okay, and Sest is written like this also. Then it says, and you who organized Yunfete. So I'll say J organized Yunfete. So if you see, my answer starts from here rather. When I actually start writing about the day, then again the date I copied from the part A at 20 hues. So that was fine. Shizma is very famous for actually putting your location. And JT invite, so basically I had to write for inviting, so I have to mention that I am inviting. So this one, and then this is the only thing you need to remember, this and this porte bone mute. If you remember this, then you can actually write any kind of invitation part. Okay, so we will see how we use this part of the vocabulary in when we move to other questions. So but this is the way you write it, and I will again say that you should keep on writing your notes with me, because this can keep on getting tedious with the time, and you just have to remember. So because when I'm writing it's very clearly visible for you to write, but when I'm actually explaining what I have bought from the question and what I have written myself and what we have to remember, then the notes get quite messy. So if you write with me only, and then you later on go ahead and start writing those back and forth for one day at least 3 4 times, you will remember what you have to write in the exam. Okay, so let's move back to the paper, and this time what I'll do, I'll take a screenshot before only. So this is the one. I'll just I think this question carry forward in the next part also. Yeah. So I have to do what? Okay. Okay, that is part C and D. So I'll just do one thing. I'll just copy these three, so that when I paste it, get easier to actually see what is happening. Okay, I'll just copy it. Move to back to open board. Add a new board, and here I will just go and paste this. So it's quite bored. Yeah. Okay, let's go back and read through the problem. So here we are. I'll just increase the size back. So let's read this. It says, so basically treat. Give me a second. I had to take pen. Yeah. So say treat three of the subjects. So basically, there would be three parts to this problem, which it mentioned. Let's check with there are three parts. So no, there are more. So basically, it says address the three of the subjects below. Basically, there are three subjects which are given below, which we have to address. So let's see what exactly it is. But Troy means three, and subjects means subject. See, the source is basically below. So let's see what are exactly three subjects are. I seriously don't know why they have written three subjects, because I thought it would be coming to the part, but there are actually five. So it might be that we will figure it out once we are solving the problem. We'll get to know what exactly they mean to say starting from here. Okay, so let's read this. It says, "C'est la jour." Jour is basically day. So this is the day, or this is the day. Okay, or it is the day. So it's la amite. Basically, amite is friendship. Okay, so they are saying actually about the friendship day. So it must be, it is the friendship day. And this I told you above twice also. It is to write a blog. You basically blog for presenter, for presenting, basically for presenting, yeah, introducing, I can say, introducing your, again it says million image. So what exactly it means I told you above also. Best friend at Parle di. So basically talk about your best friend preferences. So basically their likes or dislikes. So it should mention this here. Did say cool el aimer. Aimer is basically like, and na aimer pass is basically dislike. Okay, so we have to write what exactly they like or does not like in the post which we are going to create for our friend. So we will do this. Let's read the second one also, what exactly it says. So it says raconte. So basically they are saying to actually put up the journey. So basically the day of Max Mean. Yeah, this is the name of a person, and path is the images. So basically path is to go with the images. Done. So basically provided. So what exactly has been provided? See, this is basically below. So Reconte, so basically they are saying us to create the day or put up the day. Basically journey is the day goes. So basically day goes, the journey of the day. So how exactly this person day goes? So here, let me see this. He gets up and then he goes for a walk. Then he came. So walk is promenade. We will write about it. Then he's brushing his teeth. So ladens. Then he's having something to eat. Déjeuner. Then he's giving himself a shower. So dosher. Then he's going to school. So we can say call. And then he's playing music, and then he's studying etudier, and then he's praying. Okay, so this is all the things which have been given to us in pictures, and we have to put this in word as his day. And for the first one we have to write about the friendship day and introduce our friend. So let's go to open board and do this exercise. So we will start with the first one, and To do this, we will write here. Let me choose blue color. First of all, I'll erase this. Then I will go with the color. Okay. So I'll say today is Friendship Day because it says Jur the Amite. So basically today is the Friendship Day. So how will I say today? In French we write Ujur. So AUJOURD or Jur, and then I put an apostrophe and like Hui. So basically Ajud Hui is today. Then I'll write says today is. Now I have to write Friendship Day. I told you that for Friendship Day, you have to write about the amity. The amity is friendship. So it's a day. Day is basically June. So I write la June, la June de la, and I'll write AMI. So because I have to write la here, and A is also starting from vowel, so I just made that la as apostrophe. Then I have to write AMI. Just make sure you never make this mistake in the exam of writing, that you forgot to introduce two vowels without. So it's if la and the other one is also starting with a vowel, then you make sure that you had an apostrophe rather than writing LA. Gilla Amity. So basically, I said today is the Friendship Day. Then I'll say J because I have to introduce my friend. So I say J views rule. So J want to introduce who I'm saying because she's my friend, but then she's actually being presented to many people, so that's why for respect. J views who presenter. So a presenter, presenter ma. Then you have to write best friend. So I'll say Melior, Melior, Amy. Okay. And once this is done, I'll just write down the name. So I'll use similar name all over. I'll say Mary. Mary is quite easy to write. That's why. Now because she is a girl, so I write L.A. Amy. So she likes. I'm saying. And then when I say Bikup, that means very much. Okay, she like Bikup, so I like Biko La music. Music is easy to write, and generally everyone like music. That's why. Then I say, uh, I can say she really like music with some form also. So if I have to, so I can say so. Thought, so this is basically used for writing, especially surtout loves jazz. So basically, she write jazz music a lot. Okay, I'm just using this word to get more marks. That's it. Otherwise, I could have stopped at la music also. And I will say LA. So first I use MA. Now I'm just using a different word, adore. Okay, both means the same thing. So adore is love and MA is like. But just to make your vocabulary good, so Voyager. So basically she likes to travel. So the common things everybody likes, music and traveling. Then I had to write what does she does not like, so I write ele na ame. This was given to me in question that how exactly I have to start with the ele ame and ele na ame pass. So quite easy. So she does not like I have to say noise. She does not like noise. So in order to say that, I'll say le bruit. So she does not like noise. Okay, le bruit, and she does not like horror movies. I'll say. So she does not like music and she does not like horror movies. So ni lays films the horror. So she does not like horror movies. Okay, then it get easy. Now I just have to say that she is always in good mood because I talk about good above also, so I know it's how to put bon humor, and I'll say she's very gentle. So because that is very kind, and then almost I am done. So I'll just write Mary. Okay, Mary is. So for always I use the jaws. So Mary is the jaws. The bonnet. So Bunne humor. So Humeur. She is always in good mood. And then I'll say at elle tres gentle. So she is very kind, gentle. Okay. Now I just have to say that I am lucky to have a friend like her. So I'll say uh, J Sui chance use. So basically, chance use is being lucky. Okay, the aware is basically to have. It's a vowel, so the aware, and yun is one. Emmy, so Emmy is your friend. Come Ali. So I am lucky to have a friend like her. And with this, I will close. So if I just show you, I had to use this Ojudhui. This is actually for today, and you must have seen this in your grammar exam also. Ojudhui says La June. So basically, June is the day when we have been given in the next part also that it was there. And then the Amity is friendship day. Then J Wilkes rules. So basically, when you have to present someone, you use this. And then Melior, we have learned this above also. It's a best friend, Mary. Then it says she likes music, so it was quite easy to do. This was a quite difficult word, so you need to remember this is for specially. And then she adores whatever is quite easy to write. Eleni Parsley. This was new. It was noise, so you need to remember this. The horror is basically the horror movies, so you can go with this one also. Then you just have to say that always in good mood. So remember, jour is the day, so tajur is always all days. Devone humor. Humor is actually good mood, and horror is basically the horror, basically your horror movies. Okay, and then he says tres gentil, so very kind. Then it says this word was quite new. J sui chansius. Chansius was basically to have been lucky to have my friend Come Ele. So I'm lucky to have a friend like her. Okay. So Come Ele, like her. Cool. So what I'll do, I will add next board, and I will just erase all this so that we can work further on part B, which is there where we have to write about the day of a guy whose name is Maximin and what exactly he did in altogether in his complete day. All right, so we will move to that one now. Okay, here it is, and we will write what exactly you do. So if you see in this problem, the most thing was interesting part that we have to write everything in terms of your reflexive. So most of the things are reflexive. He got up, he had a brush, but what we will try is to actually put it in the language we know, so that it looks like a quite sort of a story also, and does not make it looking like something we have getting stuck on. Okay, so we don't have to get stuck on anything, so we will make it quite flexible and faster. Okay, so I will start with his name, which is given in question, is Maxmin. So Maxmin, and I'll say woke up. So I'll say sixth. Then for getting up, it's réveillé. So I'll say réveillé. He just got up. So Maxmin says réveillé. Then because he's a boy, so I'll say il a fait. So he went for. So faire, if you remember, that is the form of this one. So faire is basically to do, to make. He wake, so he got up. He made himself to June promenade, basically a walk. So he went up and he went for a walk. Then I'll say uh, because I have to say he came back. So I'll say ensuite. So basically, ensuite means to then. Okay. So then I won't say. Then I'll say he actually brushes teeth. So it was il says Bruce. Okay, Bruce lays down. So basically, he brushed his teeth, and then I'll say after brushing his teeth, he actually had something. So I'll say and a pre son petit de Dieu. So basically, they brushed. So basically, he brushed his teeth and had his breakfast. Okay, petit déjeuner. So we will move to the fourth one after this. So because I have to say I have used already then, so what I'll use is after. So I'll say after that. So I'll say après il a pris. After that he yun dosh. So he took a shower. Yun doshi. Okay, yun dosh. So after it he took a shower. So after having a small breakfast, he had a shower. Then I'll see. I have to write then again, but I won't use ensuite this time, just to look smart. I'll write puis push. So basically, this is again for then. So uh, puis so what exactly he did? Let me see it first. Okay, he actually singing. So basically, Shante it is called. So I'll write il a Shanti. Then he's actually studying, he's writing something. So I'll say uh, after this il, I'm just putting a comma. I'm not writing after this because otherwise it will look too odd, that because there is no timings or anything. So after it writing is big, not useful. I'll write all of three together. So il a recruit and il a pray. So then he sang, wrote, and prayed. That is what my exactly sentence means. Okay, then he prayed. And I'll just say that okay, I missed something. I missed this. So yeah, I miss he's going to school. So I'll say apres il apres hyundune. Then I'll just erase from here so that I can actually add that one. That is quite important that he went to school also. So I'll say then i- il a le col. Then then to school. Okay, and okay, I have to add Ale also. Then he went to school. It should be so. Yeah. So pues il. Then I'll say il est allé a la école. Okay. So I'm saying basically then he went to school. Okay. And after and then I will say that in the end he actually uh, basically had music and writing and praying. So I'll say and fin basically finally and finally il il est chante il a écrit et il a pris. Okay, so finally he had his day and he actually prayed. Then I will in the end say Maxime a passé. So Maxim had a good day. So I say Yun born journey. So basically he had a good day. Okay, the entire journey of the day was quite good for him. So how exactly start is, so I use this word "sestravele." It basically means to get up. Then il a faith basically to do or to make Yun promenade. So he made himself to walk. That's why I wrote il a faith. Okay, himself. Ensuite, then I'll say il says brosse les dents. So basically he brush his teeth. And then it says apris son petit déjeuner. So basically after that, so apris is the word which you put for actually something which has happened, like and had his breakfast. So it was this and then had his, so I had to write apris son. Okay, apris son petit déjeuner. Then I'll say apres again. This is actually praise for after. Okay, after that he actually gave himself a douche, basically the shower, and then il es allé à l'école. So basically he went to his school. Okay. Then I said finally il. So finally he sang. So I wrote finally il chante, il écrit, and il pray. So basically in the end he actually uh, we sang, then he wrote, and then he did the prayers. So that's how he had his entire day. Okay, let's move to the next part then. I'll just see. So First of all, I will add a new board here itself, and then I will just hide this. Come here, and I will open this. Then I had to copy all the C and D. So I'll do one thing. I'll just copy C for now, because this looks quite long. So once we see it and do it, then only we'll realize how much space this is going to take for us. Okay, I'll just try to paste it up here somewhere. Yeah. Okay. So we will go back and just put this down. So we have to read this down. So let's just read this and try to understand what exactly it is saying. So let's read this. It says apathy. So the elements. So based on the elements, and Done is Sisado given below. So based on the elements given below, see Done see this is basically given below. And this again says write or draft a small text. So Patit is small text for decree. Basically, this is to describe. So this is again a verb. So to describe. La Ville. Ville is city of Bordeaux. So basically, city of Bordeaux we need to describe while writing the text, and we have been given some text here to help us. So let's read what exactly it means. So it says William Modern. So basically, it is saying that modern city, and then it says Os de la France. So basically in southwest. So we can say in south. So those means southwest. Southwest of France. So basically, it is a city in southwest of France with the 2,65,328 inhabitants. So basically, these many people live here. Okay, so it says is at least it's 2,560 kilometer 86 de Paris. So it says it is 586 kilometer away from Paris. Okay, so it takes around this much amount of time from Paris to reach to the city. Then it says Center de Commerce International. So basically, center of international trade. It is saying so. Commerce international means international, and commerce is trade basically. So it is situated there. And then it says de la gastronomy. So basically, it talks about gastronomy and do to mise the affair. So basically, affair. So tourism and basically affairs is business. So business tourism. Okay. So this city is famous for business tourism. Capital mondial. So mondial is basically word. So world capital. Do win you. So basically world capital of wine. Basically, it is a wine capital. Destination touristique international. So it's an international destination for tourists because it's a world capital of wine. Plus, plus means more. The 400 monuments. So more than 400 monuments of history are in the city. Pleasure festivals. So it says several. This is actually for several festival of music and cinema actually take place in this city. And then it says the Le Plus Grand Festival. So Grand Festival is actually a large festival. So large festivals also take place here. And La Fête du Vin. So basically, vin is your wine. So La Fête du Vin is wine festival. So above also it was written Du Vin Yun. So basically there also it says the destination for wine, and here it says the wine festival also take place. Then it says La Flete du Fleuve. So basically the festival and the Fleuve is your river. So it means river. So your river festival also take place here. Rius Pitro. So basically Riu is used for talking about streets. So streets, streets. Riu is basically about streets, and this is maybe the name. Then it says habitant Chorlius. So basically, this is inhabitant, those people who live, and Chorlius is usually used for warm and friendly. This is actually a word which, if you instead of x put se and it's use now, then it is actually female singular also. So they are used for warm and friendly females. Okay. Then it says excellente cuisine, so excellent food. Okay, and it says boutique. Boutique is basically used for shops. It restaurants, so shops and restaurant. And then it says nine hotels sing itols. So basically, 5-star hotels are also in this city. So they mention everything to us about the city, how exactly the city is, and then they expect us to actually write about it. So we will go and put it there. So using all these uh, things, we have to write about the city and describe it. So almost all the things they have given to us. So what they expect is that we are going to give a long answer for this one, because they have given us most of the text. So now we will go ahead and try to frame this all as a sentence. So let's go to open board and put this down. So it says Bordeaux is the city we have to talk, and it's a modern city. So I'll just write the name Bordeaux, Bordeaux, and I have to write it's a modern city, so I like Est June Ville. So if you see, I am just adding Est June here, and then I am using what was given to me. So more turny. And next is talking about its location. So I'll say situ. So it is located or located in. Basically, I'm trying to say situ. Or so basically, this is the contraction of to the sud ost. So I'm just writing what exactly was given to me in the question. De la France. Okay. Now the next thing, it talks about the total inhabitants and how much far it is from France. So because I'm talking about how much far it is from Paris. So because I'm talking about the city right now, I'll just interchange the sentence and put the distance right now. So it's 586 586 kilometer de Paris. I have closed this with the location of the city. It is modern and 586 kilometer away from the Paris. Now I will talk about the total number of people here in the city. Okay, so let's write L co Peth. So it has, because it's a city, I'm using L, so it is used for the girls as well as for the city. L compete 265,328 habitants. So inhabitants basically we call them in English and in French habitant. Okay. Then I have to write about the place where exactly it has. So basically, it is in the center of international trade, gastronomy, and business tourism, as we read in the question. So I'll have to frame a sentence for that. So I'll say, "Sest sestion centre important the commerce international." So basically, I'm saying it is an important center of international trade. Then I have to talk about gastronomy. So I'll write gastronomy, and then I have to write business tourism. So I'll write okay. I again wrote this one in English. Rather, I had to write in French. So I'll say de gastronomie et de tourisme de affaires. Okay. Then I had to write about the what exactly the nickname has been given to it, because it's a city of wine given to us. Next, we will write about the wine capital. So I'll write Sur Nome. Basically, they stand for the name, which is your nickname. So Surname, La Capitale Mondiale du Vin. So worldwide capital. Okay. Then it says Bordeaux is the Orsi. So basically is also a destination for tourists. So tourist touristy Q international international. So once we have mentioned it's a tourist destination, we have to come to the next where it says it has more than 400 historical monuments. So I will write on you through So you can find, or there are more than 400 monuments which can be found. So on your way throughway plus the 400 monuments, historical. So historical, the new brews festivals, the music at the cinema. Okay, and then the biggest festival we have to write about, and the biggest festival is of wine. So we'll write, don't lose lose grand grandson la fête du vin et la fête du fleuve. So basically river. Then we have to write about the city, so about the streets and the people there. So we write says Rus pictures que says habitants share uh, UX son excellente. So basically warm residents, excellent cuisine, so excellente cuisine. Then there are actually boutiques, basically the shops and the restaurants. So we'll write says boutiques at restaurants. Restaurants. Okay. Then in the end, we'll write that basically it also has a five-star restaurant which make it an attractive destination. So we'll write Ang Si Q says 9 hotels sank a the base. Okay. Alright, so let's come and read this one more time and see what exactly we have done. So it says Bordeaux is really more than. So this was all given. We just add S and UNE. Okay, this is UNE. So S then U. Then it says situ. So basically the situated, and then this was given to us. Then what I did is, because we were writing about this, so I just bought the other sentence first. So we wrote it is to 586 kilometer from Paris. Then we write about the inhabitants. So Est Comte. So basically it has so Comte is written. It has these many inhabitants. Then we move further and we write L Cest or Centro. So basically we had to write about the center, the Commerce International. So we write Centro important, the Commerce International. We just add this word, okay, to make sure that it doesn't look that bad. The Commerce International. Then the gastronomy was given to us. We just remove la from there. Then at do tourism, the affairs. This was also given to us. Okay, so till this point, almost 96% we have taken from the paragraph itself. Then it says about the name, which is wine capital. So we wrote one word. So Nomi. Then we use la capitale. So basically, because it's a female, then we were given this again in the problem itself. So we add just this. Okay. Then further, it moves about the destination of tourists international. So we wrote Bordeaux also is also, and then we wrote Yun destination international is international, which was again given to us. Okay. Then it talks about the 400 monuments. So we wrote on Voe through. So basically, you will find while moving. So plus the 400 monuments historic was given to us in the problem. And then it talks about the festivals, several festivals like music and cinema. So we wrote the numerous. So this we wrote festival. This was given to us. The we wrote this at the cinema. No, Ethel also was given to us, so we have not written that also. Okay. Then it says plus a grand festival of wine and the river. So we wrote don't lose. Okay, grand son la fête, the basically the party of the wine and the river. So don't compare them. Uh, the less the party which is of wine and the river. So we actually wrote a little more text here, but then this was also quite good repetition. La fête du was here and la fête du was here before writing the wine or the river. So basically, almost most of the thing were taken from the paper itself. Now it talks about the street. So we wrote this word, which basically coming from your monta, monta, mon mame, sonta, says, tonta, this. From there it is coming. Okay, your demonstrative. So it came says you just give. So basically the streets. Then we wrote says habitants. So this, and then we actually says about son excellent cuisine. Then we say says boutique and restaurant, and then we just reach to the last part where we had to say about the city, so we add this, and this simply means make it an attractive destination because it has 9 hotels which are 5 star. Okay, so majorly most of the text we took from the question itself in order to write this down, and it was quite fine. So that's how you do it. So we actually move to the next one then. So let me add it, and let me go and find what exactly the next one is. Let me just close this. So close search bar, and we'll move to the paper. So here it is. What I'll do, I'll just copy paste this one only, or I'll just copy paste both of them, but we will do one because the other one actually has again a page later to it. So yeah, okay. So let me just hide it, and this also. We are here where we had to actually read this, and simultaneously this is the part of the problem which I told you that there would be two part to it, so we have to read both, and we will do one thing, we will read this and then we will read this, and later on when we move to part 5, that is E part, then we will do that also. So let's go ahead and read this out and try to figure out what exactly has to be done. Okay, so it says la dane ene divotre university. So basically uh, this and this are the main keywords here. This is year and this is finals. So this is your final year in your university, basically your college. This is the final year of your college. You a career, a career basically to write. This is coming with EZ, but this is a verb which is written as like this: a career. You a career. You write an email to your votre, with your friend Francis. So basically, this is used for female friend. You can write it for male or female friend, depends on you. For the career, basically, I told you this is to describe. Was project the Avenir. So this is quite interesting. This is not about your college project. Don't think about that. So it says was is plural. And basically this is projects. Project is plan. So plans, and this is as to plans. Then it says avenir, that is basically a verb. So your future plans. So what exactly going to happen in future? Okay, you are going to tell while writing this email what are your future plans. So it's a KSQ. So what will you Farage? So what will you do? What exactly you plan to do? Since it's your final year, after this, what exactly is your plan to do? Then it says continue let's do. So basically your study. So do you plan to continue your study? Is it giving you an option? Or search do material. Okay, this is job. I thought they will say search for your partner, but then it is job. Basically, you will look for a job. You search for a job. Or feign or to do Monday. Monday is world. Then it said fair. Fair is to make, to take, tour. So will you take a world tour? You need to be pretty rich to do that, but at least in writing you can, especially when you have to just write a paragraph. Your choice, but yeah, it gives you three options. You have to write based on that. Let's go ahead and read the next one also, so that because I have just added this on page, so let's clear it right now only. So it says who received. So basically you receive RECEIVE, you receive set the letter. So you receive this letter from Mary. So someone is Mary. I don't know who is, but let's read further. Read it attentively. So basically, it is telling you that you have received a letter and you need to read it carefully and redige your response and write your response. So basically, there is some letter from Mary, and you have to read it carefully, attentively, and based on what exactly is in the letter, you have to write your response. So I believe Mary is not an income tax officer. So the letter is coming. Anyways, let's read. What does it says? It says you re- répond à Mary et vous lui say why. This is why say you with past écrit. Depuis is the time period. So from which time period? Long time. So long time. Then you accept the invitation. So this is basically some accept invitation you have to work on. So let me read it one more time. It says you respond. So respond means respond. You have to respond to Mary and you say why you now always was agreed. So why you have not written? Why you have not written? It is now nay pass with always. So that's why you have not written, because it's a tree also. So why you have not written from a long time? Okay, so you have not written. So I suppose Mary is your friend, because you have not written to her from a very long time, and this is asking you to tell her why you have not written from a long time. And then you have to accept some invitation which she is calling. She can also be your cousin. Let's read further. You lui demande. So you are demanding. C'est que vous devez apporter. So basically, you are asking her what you should bring. You remember we did this word when we were saying bring your good mood. So apporter the humor. So basically, bring your good mood. So this is what bringing. Okay. So you are asking her what should I bring? The wine, the gâteau. So basically, the cake, the wine, or the flowers. So basically the flowers. And activities you have to parley is basically, this is Egypt, but it's a verb parley, which means to talk. So you talk about the activities. You parley is basically plan to do, going to do. It is used for to go. So plan, going to do or make together. So you have to actually ask what should I bring, and you have to tell her what we are going to do together. So I think the safest is to say that we will going to take a photograph together. Okay. So it says pendant. Pendant is basically again used always for your time. So it is basically a time after which an event happens. So some event has to happen. So okay, see here, it says last, sorry. So basically before the evening, okay, before the evening time, pendant is basically before the evening event happen. So you'll say pendant during the time, during that time before the evening or during the evening, we can dance or take photograph. Oh, I told you what activities you have to. They have already mentioned to you that you have to ask only these activities. You should not ask anything which is beyond the decorum of the paper. Okay, so whatever your thoughts were, just hold on to dance and photos only. Okay, so now you just read through this. So it says hi, and here it is written your Friday. So it says Friday 12th, the date. You can also see this format if you want, but anyways, let's move this. So it says Coco. So basically, she has not mentioned anything. She has just said the name of the person whom it is addressed to. So it says Sawa. Basically, how are you? And then it says how. So remember this. This is basically used to ask about your health, just like Sawa is there. Sawa asks how are you. So similar to it, it says how, comma, what they knew. So basically new how, see, como sawa. That's what. How is the new? V is life. How is the V? How is the new life in Paris? And if you see here, this is coming from Tontatis. How is your new life in Paris? She want to say. Okay. Then she says, pourquoi? Why? Tu. Tu means she is our friend. That's why she is writing tu. Why tu? Name a paso is negative. Écrit. And I told you, the poe is basically your time period during which the event has started. So why you have not written to me from a long time? She is asking this question, and we read through that in the instruction it is written that we have to answer this first. Then next she says put être, so to have, to be, to so she is actually doubting to as through way. So to is find the new. Okay, so she is saying that maybe you have found new friends, or because you have found new friends. So she is basically asking us, you have made new friends, that's why you are not writing, right? That is what she want to say. Then she's saying well, or anyway, or good. Jema, so Jema is Tale. Jema is Tale Mardi. Proshen. Proshen is next. And your Jema is Tale is basically I am moving in my new novelle. I told you is a new novel mention. Okay, so she's saying anyway, I am moving to my new house, and she has mentioned the day also. Mardi is basically your Tuesday. So anyway, I am moving to my new house on Tuesday. So JT invite. So I am inviting Cardinally to a party on Saturday evening. Okay, so she's saying that I am moving to a new house on Tuesday. That's why I'm having a party at my place, or place she has not yet mentioned, but we are assuming because the letter came like that, and in the instructions were like that. So she's inviting to the party on Saturday evening. Then she's saying, says possible, is it possible for you to come? And then she's saying the party starts at 6:30 p.m. Okay, so she has given the time of the party, and then she's saying tus nos amis vienen. So basically, all our. So she's using plural also. Tus is basically all. Nos is our friends, and when is coming. All our friends are coming. Okay. Uh, J commence mas taller petit. So basically, she's saying, I am going to move petit. I'm going to move bit by bit, or basically less by less, or petit is small by small. But here is a bhikkhu. So, but there is a lot of, or here is a lot of the choices available from for me to make. So she's saying I will move slowly and slowly to the new place which she's saying, but there is a lot of choices available to me, or lot of things I have to do. So she's saying that. So off is basically is used in French as few. So whenever some topic you don't like, or you feel you have made a mistake in exam, you can say off. Okay, off. Then it says they feel the manga. So moving is difficult. So they feel is basically your difficult, and the main is basically moving. So basically going something related to that is very difficult to do. Okay, that is what she means. And then she says in the end, which is a very beautiful word, you can always use this in your invitations. J te attends. So I will, I am will, or I will be waiting for you. I am, okay, I am waiting for you. So you can write it always. Then it says Amethyst Mary. So remember we wrote Ebentoth. We have written this your normal message as best. So here Amethyst is basically your friend. So when you are writing invitation like this, you can use this word also. And Jete intends basically create a good feeling that I'm waiting for you. When you're giving an invitation and you write this line, then it looks very subtle on the examination point of view also. So we will see if you can remember these. You can practice writing that. But anyways, our objective is to get through with the exam, get passed. So let's move here, and let us do the part of the exam which we are supposed to work on, that is writing the first answer, which talks about your moving out of the university as a you finally a student and you have to write an email. So let's say let me grab my pen, and let us write with the D. So we are supposed to first mention the subject because it's an email, so we'll write OBJET, and then we will write my future plans as the subject because it says that you have to write was the evening. So instead of was, we just write miss. Why I'm writing MES? Because it is actually a plural. So MES plans, okay, the avenue. So if you notice again, I'm taking most of the things from the paper itself. I'm just writing the list. And now, if you, I'll just show you how exactly that paper started. So when we have to start some letter, we'll just have to say hi. So even in email, we will use the same. So I'll say salute. And because we have not given any name, I'll just use Mary. Okay. Then I have to start writing. So I just read the other letter. If you remember, we read it there Sawa. So I'll just start with Sawa only. Sawa, and then I'll put question mark so that she knows I'm asking this question. Okay. Then next I have to write about the final year of my in the university. So this we have to write this says ma. So basically my, then I have to write final year. So that was written in question like this. Derni, DERNIERENE. Okay, says Moderni, and then at no university. So I'll write university. Okay, once I have written this, then I have to write next line about my what plans I have. So I'll write apres after, which means after after my exam. So if I have to write that, then I write after les examens, after my exams, J fairs fair on. So I'll just write like I told you in the writing. You can always say you'll go for a world tour. So I'll write on the world tour only, which make you feel better. Anyways, then I'll say ensued, which I told you earlier when we were writing answer. That means then J ways. So I'll write ways instead of maze. I will write ways. J ways. Search. Oh, Matthew. So basically the job. So what I'm saying is I will go for a world tour, then I will search for a job rather than I'm not doing a job always at all. And then because I have a chance, so I'll just ask the examiner also. Ititoy, what is your plan? Then I'll say CEST. So basically I'm asking what are you going to do? CEST, CQ, says CQ, two was where. So what are you going to do? Two was where. Just to write more words, I have done this. Okay, and now because I have to close this, and I just told you that we can write to answer part, so we'll write Amethyst. Okay, since this can also be a standard. Otherwise, we could also write Abhyanto, which is quite also correct. I'll just write my name below it. Okay. we are there. Okay, so just to show you what exactly I did, I wrote this word which almost all of us will be able to write. Then I wrote Sava, which was fine. Says to it, I wrote this I because I am talking about myself. Then this was given into question, and then university was also given in the question. I just added this too, and this I we have done a lot more time. It talks about after, and then I wrote after our exam, and then I actually have to write what I'm going to do. So I wrote J fair fair, and then further it was on Thur the Monday which was given to us. Then I wrote ensued, and after ensued I just wrote that J ways, and then Sharshidu Mathur was given in the question, so I just use instead of the because I will search for a job, so that's why. And then I just added this to get more marks. Otherwise, you could have just closed that letter there, but just to look better, I just added Atitoy STQ to elsewhere. What will you do? And then I close it. So we we are left with the last one, and once we are done with the last, then we will see using the same language and the same words, how can we address the other three question papers, or we cannot address at all. Like we will see if possible how much of it we can attempt, because I think the objective is to get passed through since we have very less time, and the only part we can do best is that we remember almost all the part in this paper and use this similar knowledge and copy paste there. If we know anything more, it is extra, but if we don't know, still we have to get through. So for getting through, it's more important to actually have that much part of ideas in your brain which can actually lead you through. Okay, so I will just add a new word, and I will just hide this and copy paste this. Okay, or we don't even need this because we know the instruction, so I'll just copy paste the instruction part only, since we actually have to go through these. We have to talk about dance photos and all, so this is quite more important to us. Okay, so yeah, okay. So let's get to with this one and try to see how exactly this one talks. So this is about Mary, and Mary is the name given to us altogether in the question itself. So that is why we have to make sure that we don't change the name of the person. Also, she it is not mentioned to whom she has written, so our name is not mentioned if they are giving us the space for that. But who is our friend in this case? They have mentioned it. Okay, so I will start it with this, and if you remember, there is a word called share. So basically, that is used for darling. So I'll just write. So whenever we are writing here "Salu Mary," instead of that, a more interesting word which makes you get better marks is this. Okay, I have to use blue pen. Wait. Yeah, better word is this. CHERE. So darling, and then we have to write her name, which is given to us, Mary. Okay. Then it says that you have to first of all respond why you have not written to her. So we'll say J. So we have to first of all say, I'm sorry for not writing you to you for a long time. So we'll say this J Soy, and sorry we call désolé. So we write désolé de ne pas. So basically I'm writing a negative sentence. So de ne pas the avoir écrit écrit depuis long temps. So I am again using what exactly is given to me above, most of the apart from there. Okay, so I have written that I am sorry for not writing to you from a long time. Now further what I have to write is I was very busy with my studies in Paris, so I have to write like some reason, right? So I'll just write J at this. I was very busy. This this is basically very occupy. So I was very much occupied with my activities. So basically my study. I was very much occupied with my study in Paris. So there, mercy. So basically, thank you for the invitation. Since she has given us the invitation. Okay, this line you can use everywhere whenever there is an invite or something. We can always use that. Okay, J accepte avec plaisir. So we accept it with pleasure, and now I will just tell her that I will arrive on Saturday. So since I have accepted the invitation, samedi je arrive was 18 30, which is the time she has given. So I have not copy pasted the letter, but in the letter it is given to us, since I remember she has written that. Okay, next I will say that what should I bring, because it is given to us that we have to ask between wine, cake, and flour. So I'll say qu'est-ce c'est que je dois apporter do wine or catio or these views. Okay, then it says that we have to ask whether about the activities we can do in the evening. Okay, so we'll write no pourrons response we pourrons danser, we can dance. So dance at prendre these photos. So basically we can take the together the photos. So I will write this as prendre this Okay, give me a second. I just have to rub this or this. Yeah. So this was Katya. Yeah, Katya. And I will write it. Pray we can dance and take photos of Prendre these photos. And because I have to say together, so I'll say ensemble. We can take photos together and we can dance. Okay. Then it also says that we have to actually close the letter when we have written everything in a best way possible, so that we don't actually give the option to examiner once we have done everything correct how to get good marks. So what will I should write to close this, since I have mentioned everything which was given in instruction. I'll just write I can't wait, rather than the one above we use actually. So it was I am waiting, right? We write Jane Athens, I'm waiting. So here I will just say that I can't wait to meet you. So I will just say J Swiss impatience. So this word is quite good to close this. I can't wait. Okay, and then we have to just close this. So we can write Ebinto is to mean that see you soon, or we can write Amit. She has already written to us. Amit means friends. You can write something different. Well, let's write Bisus. So Bisus. This is informal. We can write Bisus. Bisus means basically kisses. So Bisus Atul. So basically, the different form of vocabulary, whichever you write, more are the chances of getting better grades. So that's why we use Bisus in this case. Alright. So let me just add a new board now, and I'll tell you. I'll just hide this one. So we are done with all the questions here in the this problem set. Okay. So now the thing comes here. This is exactly the part where you have to execute what we have learned. So suppose now that what I just wrote in that paper, I remember all the things. I remember the words. I remember the exact spellings because I have written that 4 5 times. I remember the meaning also. Can I use all that information? And if I come at this paper, which is of 3 hours, can I actually attempt it? Because in the examination hall, this is what it is going to happen. We will get a new question paper. We will have the knowledge of the previous one, whether we are able to do anything or not. So we will go through this and see how exactly we do. So I'll just start reading from the first one. Give me a minute to have my pen, and yes, let's do it. So it is that you have your anniversary next week. So last mean is basically your week, and next is brushing. You have to invite your friend, and this is about right. And so I'm not writing all these words because we saw it in the last paper, in the last 2 hours. If you are paying exact attention, the which was required, you must be knowing. So we just have to write an invite to the friend, and what we have to mention is the date, the place, the time, and the activity which we have to do while doing this. So what we are supposed to just move to the next board and do this. Okay, so we are now on the board, and we just have to write down the invitation part. So we going to start with this, and I am going to write share. So since we I told you, if you use good words then you get good marks. Share, Mary. Okay, so instead of Salu I have used this. Then I have to talk about the anniversary. Before that I am going to write Sawa, so that it looks much better on the part. So I'll just write Sawa. I'll put a question mark. Then I'll write about the part of the anniversary part and move to that. So I'll write Sa weekend. So basically, this weekend, this weekend is my birthday. So I'll write 6th more anniversary. So if you remember, I am just using all the knowledge we had from the previous part. I told you we can use this word, we can use this. So we are using that, and then we'll write J, organize Yon Fete, which again we did in the previous one, right? So we have to now use the date. So I'll just write Yon Fete Lundi. Okay, then I'll write 5 October. Okay, and so time we have to write. I'll write 20 use, and then shares my at my place. So we have covered the requirement which says you have to mention the date, the place, and the time. Now we just have to again mention what activities we can do. So remember in the last one we actually wrote that we can take photos and dance. That was a part of instruction, and from there we know how exactly we write it. So we'll write that nose porons dance, so we can dance at prendre des photos ensemble. Okay, so we have write that what exactly we can do. We can dance and we can take the photos together. All those things we have right. Now we just have to close this. So we'll write J to invite. I invite you. And the last line, I hope you can come and bring your good mood, which we did in the other part. So we'll write that. So just aspire Q Q pux venir aporte to bonne bonne humor. Okay, and in the end we have to close this. So you remember, in the close also I told you that we can write abientod, but to get better marks we'll write cases basis, and I'll just write my name. So now this, if you see, was completely a new question, and we were able to do this all together without actually getting worried, because we knew the lines. So I'll tell you what we knew. We knew that how to write this. We knew that we had to write this. We knew that we had to write this. This we have to actually get it from the part of the play, that it's actually always says that you have an anniversary or something. So this we actually remember. Then J organized Yun Fateh, this line we remember, and Lundi is Monday we remember. Shezma is the place we remember from the past one. Activities we remember completely this line, so that nowhere we miss this. And then I hope you can come. This is the closing. We remember this, and aporte beyond humor. Basically, bring your good mood. We actually knew this also, and this should be R. Okay, so we knew this. How exactly doing this without even having any stress? If we remember the part of the earlier play we did. So that means, if you remember what I have taught you in the above, by writing this again and again, then you can actually get really comfortable with the exam without even wondering what to do. Let's try the next one. Okay, first we can attempt. So if we attempt this was actually, uh, just give me a second, where exactly that went. Yeah, so exactly this was of 7.5 marks. So we will be able to get through this very easily, and we were able to solve this using our previous knowledge without even thinking what exactly has to be done. Okay, let's read to the next one and see if this we can attend using the previous knowledge we had from the previous question paper which we learned by heart. So it says you have to n vacancies, and you invoice send a poster to your friend in France. In Okay, you have to send a poster to your friend in France who is basically a French. Okay, and you have to you have to talk about the time, the place, the activities, wow, and the date of what your tour to your friend, and you have to actually talk about those MS past. Okay, the negative sentence. So when you are actually coming back. So the thing is, you just have to talk what exactly you are going to do, because you are going on vacation, and then you have to mention what activities you are going to through, and you just have to write this to your friend. Okay, so let's see this. I'm pretty sure you understood that we can actually tackle this very easily. I believe you got me by now, but let me show you how exactly it goes. So again, I will start with the name of my friend. So I again say that Sherry. So all right, okay. Let me change the color first. Sherry and Mary. Okay. Now the next is, I'll just write Sawa. So this is something you just write to increase the number of words you have to write. Okay, so now you just write about other things. So suppose because it was said that you have to talk about where exactly you are, so I'll just say that I'm in a city on holiday because it's said vacancies, right? So we'll say J Swiss vacancies. Okay, where? So I'll write in. Now this is the game changer, man. Bordeaux. Remember Bordeaux? Exactly. That is why I said you remember one thing, you do everything. Okay. Now I'll have to write about the part it was asked in the question. So the question about ask about the time of my returning. It asks about the activities and it asks about the place. So we have to write about all those things. So first of all, I'll write a new thing. I'll write about the weather. So it's quite simple. Ill faith view. So I have said that the weather is really nice. Okay. Now I have to mention the activity. So see this. JMA. I like most. Okay. I like most, or I like. Uh, I really like the what I like. The music. Remember we actually saw this when we were actually writing for the friend. The music and so I really like music and traveling. I have mentioned the activity. Now, what activity I did not like? You remember what was that? She did not like actually the noise. So let's write Jena Amy pass Lee with. Now here I am not writing of the horror part, Lay's films, horror films, because this one activity is quite fine. Okay, and then I'll write J face this promenades. So what I'll do, I go for walk. Do you remember that there was a photo where actually we read this word, these promenades. That's what I'm writing. And then I just have to mention as per the question when you are returning. So I'll write J ritorni le when. So I'll say 20 October. Cool. This is done. And last but not the least, I have to write here. So I'll just write whistles and then I'll write my name. Cool, this is done. So we were able to attend 1B also with all the things we have done. So just let me just hide OpenWord and go back here. So we were able to do this one also, and this one was also 7.5 marks. So even if we get to around 14 out of it, because I don't think if you use the same things you will make mistake. Maybe 12. Okay, I should say. So we are getting actually really good start. Okay, let's see what happens to the next one if we try. So this one actually is about let's read through it. It says you have to go with your friends to encourage a letter to your parents for describing the Wu Aves faith and Etude faire du shopping to the college. Okay, so it so we have to actually write about going to a friend's place and the activity we did, and which could be shopping, study, and going to college, and we have to write it to our parents. Okay, so it says she's Votreme. From here, I guess that it's a friend's place. Ale is to go. Okay, so let's see how can we write this much without even wondering where to start. So if you remember, I am using share altogether, and share is basically a word. If I remove its e, then it's becomes me singular. So what I'll write is share, and then you have to write to your dad. So I'll write share papa, and then you again writing to your mom as well. So I'll write the sherry we were using for Mary. We'll use here now. Okay. Then I have to write last month I went to my friend's place. So we'll write le moi the near j soy ale says. Now this was given in question mon army. Okay, so everything of this was given in question. It was clearly written le moi the near in question, and then j soy. So I think I should put the screenshot of the question again next time. Okay, we'll do it from the next question. So now I have to write what exactly we did, because that was the objective of the question, that you have to mention to your parents what you did. So we'll write that J may sui revele. So basically I get up, then I'll say J faith yun pro mi nade. So I went for a walk. Then J I please mo petit di junior. So basically I had a break first, then J H U D A. So I basically studied. So this was all given to us, right? In the pictures, we just learn those words. J faith, do shopping. This was actually given to in us in question. So you have to mention this also. Then J Swiss Ale or college. This was also given to us in question. Then this we are writing from ourselves J Atheis. So tres occupy. I was very busy. Occupy, occupy, and then we'll write I had a good day. So remember how that we closes maximum a passe un bon journey. So instead of this, we'll write J a passe un bon journey. Cool. So we are almost there, and we just have to now end this. So what I'll write is this is cool. So we were able to attend this one also. Let me show you how much marks this was for. So this had around 12.5. So we were able to attend quite a good amount of people. Like we were able to attend around 15 and 12.5. That simply means around 27.5 marks people we were able to actually attend, without even thinking that we had to write a paper. We could have actually make mistakes. We are not going to make mistakes here because we remember by heart that what actually has to be added. So I'm just cleaning the paper so that it looks better to us. And yeah, okay. So let's go through the next one then. It says that this is your last year in the university and you have to write a letter to your friend about what is your plan in the future. So you want to study, go on vacation, or actually visit the world tour, or you are going to find a job. So this is simply the same which we actually did earlier in that one. Only thing here is about the vacation part. So I am not doing this because you already have the format. You just have to add one thing more. In fact, you don't have to even add this. You just write that the world tour, and then you write that I will search for a job, and then ititoy what exactly you are going to do. That part you can put up. So you don't need me to do this one more time, go through it again. Rather, let's read the next part, which actually talk about this. So it says, "Racconte la journée de Paul." So basically, write about the story about the day of Paul. So Paul is someone whose pictures are given to us. Here are these images. So basically, take the help from the images, don't see though, which are given to you below. And using those images, we have to write about the day of Paul, how what exactly he went through. So this is quite interesting that we have a similar kind of thing when we actually went for Max Win. So we use already that knowledge in 2A, and now we are going to use the similar knowledge in third A also. So that is why I'm saying that you have to just remember the answer by heart in order to actually finish it off quickly and do well in the exam. So let's do this. Okay, so I will paste it in the open board and then we will start here. Let me just add a board, yeah, and paste it here. So the first thing is he's getting up, so I'll just write Reville, and then he's walking. So I will write the promenade, and after this he is actually doing brush. So I'll write brochure dance, and then he is actually going to school. So I'll just say that après il est allé à school. Then I see that he's eating, so I'll write allez manger. Uh, it will have this. Then I'll say our la school. Okay. And then next he's meeting his friends, so I'll say ensuite il a me rencontré says Ami. So it's not as Ami because he's meeting one person. Then after this he's coming home and studying, so I'll just say après il a étudié à la mansion. Then he's playing, so I'll just say pues because it's then. So if you see 5 of the images are coming back, so if you write even those you will get marks there. So you need to remember, that's why I say by heart. So I'll write pulse a jouer the video game I have to write. So then I'll just say ensuite il a in étudier because he's studying again. Then I'll say enfin finally il a allez c'est crucial. And I will close this by mentioning that Paul had a good day. So Paul a passé mon journey. Alright. So this completed this problem, and now we need to move to the next one. So let me just see. This is quite long though. Okay. So the thing is, this much amount of long paragraph when comes, it scares anyone who's learning French for the first time. Just like you, I am also scared because at A1 level it is quite difficult to deal with. But anyways, since it is a part of exam, we have to go through this. So I'll just try to understand what exactly is given here, and then we will figure out whether we can solve this type of problem. So it's someone's name is written. He says Jamapel. That's why. Then the next he's saying is connaissance. That means I would like to know, and he is mentioning that he is Francis, and he has mentioned in the subject also that he would like to know about someone. So connaissance is basically knowing. He is mentioning that I am writing it on a site, and I like to meet strangers. That's why he joined this site. And he is mentioning that he is Francis, and he is a professor, and he likes to travel and to foreign lands. He's 35-year-old, dances, goes to cinema and exhibitions and theater. So he's also mentioning that communication is essential to him, and he likes to communicate. Then he's saying that he also goes in evening with his friends to restaurants and to the cafes. Then he is also mentioning that he would like to talk anyone who's not in France over call. That is fine with him. And then he mentioned he lives in Marseille, and he is quite flexible to move out of from there also. It does not bother him. And he said that if you want to talk to me, then just write a reply back to me. Okay. Then he mentioned biases. So we are also writing biases. I'll just check. Is there any difference between the males and female, because the spellings look a little different to me. So let me just search for it. I'll just go to Google. I'll just write biases versus biases. So okay, one is a traditional cheek kiss, and another one is quite intimate between close friends and children. All right. So whatever we are writing, that was also correct, and there is no difference between a female or male writing spellings. So we have to write an email to this person, being Sophie, and we have to mention that what are our likes and dislikes, which obviously it would be noise as a dislike, and music, especially jazz, is like. And we also have to mention why we would like to know this person. Of course, I'll write it because French and I am learning French. That's why I would like to know him. So I think I can attend this one since I have the idea of it. So let's do one thing. Let's go back to open board and just write down an answer to this problem. So I'll just come here and we will start. So I'll start as Salu Simon, and then I'll ask Sawa because that will give me more words to write. So I'll just write Sawa, and now I'll start. So I should mention my name first. Jamapel Sophie, and Now I should start with what exactly my nationality is. So I'm writing Indian because that is what I spell better. Then I'll write student because that spelling I remember. Then I'll just write JMA Backup, the music, support, the jazz. Then I'll write J Adore, Voyager. Then I'll write J Eme Pass, Le Brut, the Les Films, the Horror. So I just mentioned all this because I remember this, so I was able to write it faster. Then I'll just say J Vukes Fere, basically to make uh, the Supponizing, sorry. And then I'll write just J Prince de Francis. So I would like to know you because I like Francis. Abintot Sophie. Alright. So once I do that, we are done with this one. And then the next one we have to see. So it is about the village part, and we have already done this kind of problem before. So we can do this also. Let me just put it. So it's Petit village, small village we are talking about with 3500 habitants, and it is location given to us, also how far it is from Azakio. Then it mention about the authentic use and corset, and also talks about the mason and the commences the soonest. Then it talks about the speciality of the reason, what exactly the speciality. So it's called Fedu Nico, and then it says it's good for walk, so it's marvelous. And it also mentioned about the car, horses, and boat. We have which one can travel to this village. Then what exactly else is mentioned? So it talks about Belil places, that means beaches. So one can find beaches there in this village. And then there is decoration, so decoration part also is mentioned. And it talks about Ecole de Plonge, that is basically a driving school, welcomes uh, les plongeurs, confirmers, and the business, that means the freshers and those who have an experience. So we're talking about the drivers. So I'll just paste this, and we will come here. So we will start working on this. I will just write down the name of the village, which is Propriano. So it's mentioned Ville di Propriano here. So I'll just write Propriano, and then next I will mention about the village as un petit village. So I'll just write whatever we learn. Situ oh so the la course, and then I'll write distance, so a 70 kilometer, the a c a j a c c I o, and then I'll write LA complete 3500 inhabitants, and then I'll set the center. The so basically commercials is trade. So it talks about business. So commercials, this souvenir, and then I will write about the speciality of the region where you can go and you will find the old houses. So I'll write Jolly's Mansion as in which was given in question. Then I will write about the other specialities. So there was beaches, so the valley places I will write, and then again after this I will write. I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, so right there I will write about the cruise. Then I write, and there was a school also. So you call the school a career, the youngs and the old. So I'll just write it down completely from the question. Okay. Then I have to write about the walking part, which was mentioned. So cis dominates, and then about the car and horses and beaches, which was it written, and the boat. Sorry, not beaches. So beaches we have already mentioned. Then I will write about them as there was a quite good word, marvelous. Yeah. All right. So we will move to next and see how exactly. So I want to cover all these papers, but then this video is getting quite long, and I want you to actually see that we were able to attend 86 marks paper, even with whatever we learned. So if we try this one, I'll just show you. So you have to mention the preferences. So you can definitely do this one also, and then about this you have to make an announcement. This one you can also do. So this is again birth announcement. So if we go through what is there in the base paper, then we can do these two very easily. And then let me read the third one, what exactly that is. So it talks about the house, and you have to mention that you are moving to new house and how it looks. So this one we have not covered in our vocabulary part. This is quite different, but I think yeah, you can deal with it. Otherwise, it's fine to even not practice this one. You can write something at least. Let me read the fourth. So yeah, fourth you can do. It's about the writing to parents. So that you can definitely do. Then the other one is about the images. So we have practiced about the images, that also quite possible to do with our base paper knowledge. And let me see what is next. So it talks about, so this actually we have written, and we are mentioning that we will get a phone if we do it so better in the exam. So that was the thing. And this again asking us that it's my birthday, so don't forget to come. And then we have to write a letter. So we are going to mention the reason, the time, and the arrival part. And I think this one we also we can do with the knowledge we had about it. So this again is of 15 marks. You can definitely do this one. Then this one again about village, we have already practiced two questions, one from base and one from new one. So you were able to attempt most of part of it. This question I saw has been coming quite often, like in the last one also. So this one has 7 parts and this one also has 7 parts. So I think we should do this one also, because out of these seven, if even three or four we could have got similar, maybe three also, then also we'll get 6 marks. So let's this one should be done. And this one is about what exactly an event is called. So they have mentioned different one. Let me just add them. And they are asking us what does it call. So if you see, if there is someone's birthday, what will you actually tell that person? Happy birthday, right? So how do you write happy birthday in French? I'll write Joyeux anniversary. So it's J. Okay, the Joyeux and then the anniversary of the person. What about the second one? It is about 25th December, that is Christmas. So again, Joyeux and then you just write Noel. Then to the third person whom with we are drinking champagne. So in English we call cheers and in French we call Sante. So I'll just say Sante. Then what do you call to a person who's going to have his food? So you'll say bon appetit. So bon appetit. Then what do you call to a person with on 1st January, that is your new year? So how do you call it in French? So in French we just write bonne année. Okay. Then it is ask what do you call to a person who is going by train? So you'll just call them bon voyage. So basically happy journey. Okay. And then you what do you call to a person who's going on vacation? So you tell them so on good vacation. So bones vacancies. Okay. And let's quickly see to the other one also. Like I mentioned that this has come twice. So let me just get the other one also, and then it would be easier. So what do you call to a person who's going to sleep? So we call it bon nuit. So I'll just write down bon nuit. Then what do you call to a person who has an exam? You should tell me this, and I should also tell you. Bon chance. So next time, for all the best, you just write bon chance. Even in comment section, you can write this. Then the next one is about the sick person. So who is sick? We call it restablishment. Okay, restablishment. Then for the another one, we just 1st of January. What do we call it? We just wrote it be in any. Then for the one who is going to eat, bon appetit. Then on 25th December, we call it Joyeux Noel. Then the last one is about anniversary. So Joyeux anniversary. Okay. And before we leave, I just think few more we should remember just for the sake of exam. So what do you call for someone who's doing homework? You call it born courage. Okay. Then about the someone who's drinking coffee, born cafe. Then about play, you call it amuse toy bien. Okay. And then about morning, you call it bonjour. Alright. So I think yeah, that is all for this video. A very good luck to you for your exam. Just remember, you need to keep on putting this again and again into your mind so that we can do better in exam. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye.